I would like to announce that I am just appointing Maulana Afthab Cassim as a wakil. In my absence, he can make you breathe.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina maulana Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina maulana Muhammadin wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallim sallu alayhi. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. غوث أعظم بمن بسرو ساما مدد قبلة دي مدد كعبة إمام مدد قادرية نعرائي يا غوث أعظم ميزنم دمز شیخ احمد رضا خان قطب عالم میزنم سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خان زندہ باد. مسلک سرکار اعلیٰ اعلیٰ حضرت زندہ باد. یا الہی مسلک احمد رضا خان زندہ باد. حفظ ناموں سے رسالت کا جو ذمہ دار ہے سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خان زندہ باد حامل فیض رضا مصطفیٰ امداد کن صلی اللہ علیہ نبی الامی و آلہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم صلاۃ و سلام علیک یا سیدی یا سندی یا حبیبی یا طبیبی یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم وعلی آلک و اصحابک یا رحمت للعالمین. All praise is due to Almighty Allah. Durood and salams upon the most perfect, exalted and glorified of Allah's creation, Sayyiduna wa Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Peace, blessings and salutations upon the Anbiya Ikram, Ahl Bayt Athhar, Sahaba Ikram, Khulafa Rashidin, Tabain, Tabi Tabain, Aimma Mujtahidin, Awliya Kamilin, and all those who will follow the path until the last day. We thank Almighty Allah through His infinite mercy and the wasila of Rasul Akram Nur Mujassam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for blessing us with the opportunity to congregate during these Mubarak nights of Rabiul Akhir Sharif, to remember him and his beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and to pay tribute to the pious servants of Allah, especially the pious amongst the pious, Hazrat Sayyidina Shaykh Mahyuddin Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani Al-Baghdadi radiyallahu ta'ala. Over the last few nights I've been trying to explain with my humble knowledge the discussions on the life of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu an and the ruhani kaifiyat of the spiritual and the physical mahfils of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu an, where Sarkar Gawth Pak is in the midst of the Afthab and the great awliya, and the tajalliyat of Sarkar Gawth Pak that descends upon them and is shared with them based on that which he attains from the court of Allah through the blessing of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yesterday the share that I read I did not complete due to time constraints, and then again tonight we have time constraints, so I'm going to see how far we go and then we'll continue from there. Last night I read the share of Ala Hazrat Adimul Barkat radiyallahu anh, क्यों न कासिम हो कि तू इब्न अबिल कासिम है, क्यों न कासिम हो कि तुम इब्न अबिल कासिम है, क्यों न कादिर हो कि मुख्तार है बाबा तेरा. And I explained to you that Ala Hazrat Adimul Barkat, when he said this, it is a reality because the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the one who gets from the court of Almighty Allah. He receives from the court of Almighty Allah, and he is the one who receives absolutely. Everything first comes to Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the blessings. And then Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam distributes. Innama ana qasim wallahu mu'ti, and some riwayats wallahu yu'ti. Okay. So Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam receives this, and Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam distributes it in the different levels and categories. And amongst the awliya, before it gets there, it goes to the hand of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu. It goes into the Mubarak heart of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu an, this drink of the closeness of Almighty Allah, and this sharabi wisal, and this love for Almighty Allah, this special love. It is bestowed from the court of Sarkar do Alam sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu an before any other amongst the awliya Allah receive it. It reaches his darbar first, and then all the awliya Allah that want that day, they have to go in the qadam of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu. And I explained this to you from the ash'ar of Sarkar Gawth Pak himself, where he says that فَقُلْتُ لِسَائِرِ الْأَقْطَابِ لُمُّوا بِهَالِي وَادْخُلُوا أَنْتُمْ رِجَالِي. And he said to the awliya Allah, he said, I said to all of them, to those Afthab, all together I said to them, come around me. Come gather around me. Why? So that the hal that I am in, the spiritual state that I am in, you can have a share of it. You can join in this spiritual state. But what I said to you the night before that the awliya Allah, when their hearts were yearning to be close in the court of Sarkar-e Pak to take these blessings and the barakat, but they were anxious spiritually. How will we be able to bear this? Bardash kaise kare? How are we going to handle this? So Gawth Pak radhiyallahu anhu said, وَهُمْ وَشْرَبُ أَنْتَمْ جُنُودِي. He said to them that, be brave, be courageous, and come drink, because you are my army. I am your commander. I have been given this so that I may distribute it to you. فَسَاقِ الْقَوْمِ بِالْوَافِ الْمَلَادِ. Come, Bilwafi Maladi, come into my court and drink, because the one who gives, the patron of the nation, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has bestowed this to me from the court of Almighty Allah, so I'm giving you. So the point that we made, and I was trying to explain, that when Sarkar-e Azam Jilani radiallahu anh said to all the Aftabs and all the awliya and all the pious servants of Allah that, come, let me give you, come, let me distribute to you. I have this great authority and I have this ikhtiyar that I may bestow this drink which has been given to me to the others and fill their hearts with it. Ala Hadrat is explaining the same thing. क्यों ना कासिम हो, क्यों ना कासिम हो, कि तुम इब्ने अबिल कासिम. Why won't you be the one who distributes? For your forefather is Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose kunya is Abul Qasim. And why won't you have any ikhtiyar? Why won't you have any power when your forefather Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Mukhtar? I explained to you yesterday the ikhtiyar of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam briefly, so that you may understand. I gave you examples of Hazrat Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh. I gave you the example of Hazrat Sayyidina Rabi'a bin Ka'b Aslami radiallahu anh, and other companions of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat radiallahu anh is saying कि क्यों ना कासिम हो कि तुम इब्ने अबिल कासिम हो, क्यों ना कादिर हो कि मुख्तार है बाबा तेरा. Ya Gawth Azam, why shouldn't you be a distributor? Why shouldn't you be able to distribute? Why that which you got in your heart from the court of Allah, you won't be able to give the others? Why won't that be so? When you are who? Ibn Abil Qasim. You are the descendant of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in whose hands the treasures of the universe are. All the barakat and all the fayuz of the dunya, they are in the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says, why wouldn't you be powerful when your ancestor is the legislator exalted? Yani Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the duly appointed from the court of Almighty Allah, and he is giving this blessing to Sarkar-e Pak radiallahu. And that's why we said yesterday. And when the awliya Allah in the court of Sarkar-e Pak, you know, subhanallah, when Sarkar-e Pak radiallahu ta'ala invited them to this drink of ruhaniyat, and when he said to them, be brave, don't be shy, don't be anxious, come. Abdul Qadir is telling you to come. So whatever you need to bear this, you will get from Abdul Qadir with it. This sharabi visal, if you are worried, will my body be able to make bardash? Will my heart be able to make bardash? This is Abdul Qadir. He grabs the hand of a thief and he makes him Abdal. This is Abdul Qadir Jilani, that a thief comes and grabs his daman. And when he turns around and he sees it is Gawth Pak radiallahu ta'ala an, he starts asking forgiveness because he tried to steal from the jab of Sarkar-e Pak radiallahu an. This is that Abdul Qadir. That he came thinking, thief walking in the forest somewhere, wilderness, comes and grabs Sarkar-e Pak's robe Mubarak, his khirka Mubarak. Why would they enter? He didn't realize from that it was Shaykh Abdul Qadir. And then when he grabbed, and Sarkar-e Pak turned and we saw, oh, this is Abdul Qadir Jilani. Now he started trembling. Halat kharab ho gayi. Ki Abdul Qadir Jilani, I tried to do this. He said, Huzur, mujhe maaf kar do. Hazrat, please forgive me, I won't do again. Yani when he saw that face, sache dil se tawbah bhi karne laga. immediately started to making tawbah with his sincere heart. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh grabbed his hand when he tried to take something from him. Now he looks at Gawth Pak and he said, please release my hand. Gawth Pak said, I am Abdul Qadir, I am Dastagir, jiska pakarta hu chhorta nahi hu. Whose hand I hold, I don't leave it again. So we should be like that. That we don't want that we just hold. We want that Gawth Pak must hold our hand. Because when Gawth Pak holds, he will never leave it. Gawth Pak held his hand. He said, whose hand I hold, I don't leave. He said, Ya Gawth Pak. He said, go, you came for something, na jao maine tumhe vilayat. Go, I have given you the level of wilaya. This is the shan of Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh. That is the power of the distribution that he has received from the court of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by the izn of Almighty Allah. So whoever drank, and then these awliya Allah that were concerned, said to them, don't worry, Abdul Qadir has the authority. He has the power. That is what Allah Hadrat is saying, kyun na qadir ho. Kyun na qadir ho. Why won't he have this authority? Ke mukhtar hai baba tera. Your beloved forefather is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So after that, if you look at this share, kyun na Cassim ho ki tum ibn Abil Qasim ho. Kyun na qadir ho ke mukhtar hai baba tera. If you look at that, and then you look at the next share of Qasida Burda Sharif, Qasida Gawthiyah Sharif. What does he say? Sharibtum fadlati min ba'di sukri. Sharibtum fadlati min ba'di sukri wala niltum ulubi wattisali. What is he saying? What is Sarkar-e Gawth Pak saying to the awliya? He's saying to them, you drank from whatever I left. Aap logon ne mera jhoota piya. Oh, you awliya and you Afthbs, this status that you got in your communities and in the spiritual kingdom, you got because you drank what I left. Yani not the direct drink. You drank whatever that is what he's saying. Sharibtu fadlati min ba'di sukri. After I went in the state of sukr, in the state of spiritual ecstasy, whatever was spilling out of there, that you took. That I gave you. You drank from whatever I left after I was satisfied spiritually. You drank from whatever I left after I was satisfied spiritually, but still you cannot reach my grand height. He's saying to them, وَلَا نِلْتُمُ أُلُوِي وَاتِّصَالِي. Still you cannot reach my grand height of eminent spirituality. In other words, my closeness in the darbar, in the court of Rasulullah. Through that in the court of Almighty Allah. That wisal and that maqam of wisal that I have, all of you put together have drank from what I have left. You will never reach that maqam. You can't reach that maqam of Abdul Qadir. Who is saying this? I'm not saying, Gawth Pak saying himself. He's saying to the Afthab. He's saying to the super elite amongst the awliya Allah. Super elite amongst the awliya. He's saying to them that you people drank from what I left. So you will never be able to, you can't reach this maqam, what Abdul Qadir has reached, because whatever you drank is what I gave you. Whatever I drank is what Allah gave me from Rasul Pak sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. This is the shan of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh. That's why the poet says, Mast jab mein ho liya, mast jab mein ho liya, tumne mera jhoota piya. This is what it means. Okay? Mast jab mein ho liya, tumne mera jhoota piya, mere kurbo shan ko ho kab pahunch sakte bana. When will you be able to reach my status? You can't. I am Abdul Qadir. I am that one who has been made Imamul Awliya. Gawth Pak said to all of them this. Allahu Akbar. So Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh, why I am going on this discussion? It's a very spiritual discussion that we're having over the last 3-4 days. Not the normal discussion of waqiyas from the life of Gawth Pak. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to better drown myself. And I want you to drown yourself in that maqam and in that barakat of Gawth Pak, to try to understand what is the maqam of this personality, that all the awliya together drink what he left and they still won't reach that maqam of Abdul Qadir radiyallahu ta'ala. Allah. What is the shan of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh, right? And when you can't understand the shan of Abdul Qadir, when you can't understand the shan of that person who's Ibn Abil Qasim, where will the Wahhabi understand the shan of Abil Qasim Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? That they say the Nabi is like us. Pehle Abdul Qadir ki qadam ke khak ban ke dikhao. First sign, be the dust of the feet of Abdul Qadir. You can't be the dust of the feet of Abdul Qadir, where would you be like Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You are the dogs of the fire of hell. The Wahhabi and the Rafzi and the Shia and all these bad mazhabs, they are the dogs of hell. If they make any biadbi, that person who makes gustakhi of any sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is a dog of the inmates of hell. That one who makes biadbi of a sahabi of Rasulullah is from the dog of the inmates of hell. And that one who makes gustakhi of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, aaj se leke qayamat tak koshish kare, he will never be forgiven because he has disrespected the shan of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam. This is Abdul Qadir. This is Abdul Qadir, who became Abdul Qadir through the barakat of the lu'ab ad-dan of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who became Abdul Qadir through the dua of his mother. That Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, Allahu Akbar. Hazrat Sayyidina Gawth Pak saying to the awliya, Gawth Pak is saying to the awliya, I drank to my heart's fill, jitna mere dil ne chaha maine piya. I drank till my heart's fill, and when I became totally absorbed in the state of shukr, deep in the love of my Creator, in that maqam of wishal, closeness in the court of my Rabb, absorbed and drowned in the state of ruhaniyat and spirituality and ecstasy, then you Afthab who are the elite drank what I left. Drank what I left, and you became Afthab. These 40 Abdals and these Afthab and there's no Kaba and there's no Jaba and all these awliya, whatever you became because of Abdul Qadir Jilani. All this is because of Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu anh. That is why you must remember, Gawth Pak is telling them. That's why he's telling them, याद रखना, पी तो लिए Abdul Qadir से, ये सोचना मत कभी कि Abdul Qadir कराता बन जाओगे. Don't think you will become like Abdul Qadir. Today you get this 5 cent and 2 cent fellas. जुब्बा पहन लिया, अलग रंग का मामा बांध लिया, गौस पाक बन गए. Ma'adallahi Rabbil Alameen. They are trying to mock, and this leads to destruction. Gawth Pak is saying to the awliya, you can't reach my maqam. Allahu Akbar. He's saying to the Afthab, you can't reach my maqam. He's saying to the Bodala, you can't reach my maqam. He's saying to the Naqaba and the Nujaba, you can't reach my maqam. अरे जब वो नहीं पहुंच सकते, आज का 2 पैसे का आदमी कहां पहुंचेगा भाई? How will you reach? पहले अगर कुछ बनना है, अपने मुर्शिद की कदमों के नीचे आ जाओ. If you want to be something in your life, as I said, become a murid sadiq. Don't put anything, there's no need for you to do anything like that. Put your heart under the feet of your Murshid Kamil. Put your heart, let his qadam touch your heart in Ruhani state. Phir dekhe kahan pahunchta hai. Then see where you reach. So Gawth Pak, at this stage I must tell you, can I take more time a little bit? At this stage I must tell you, because you are all the beloveds of Gawth Pak. We all love Huzur Gawth Pak, and Gawth Pak loves us. We have yaqeen of that because we have a peer like Tajushariah. We have a peer like Muhaddis Kabir. We have a qaid like Qaid Millat. That's why we have yaqeen. Today is Chatti Sharif. Tonight is Chatti. Gawth Pak ki 11वीं की सदके में छठी वाले सुल्तानुल हिंद बने हैं. सरकार ख्वाजा गरीबुन नवाज became Sultanul Hind because of the qadam of Al-Azam. Other people take the crowns of the dunya on their head. Khaja Garibun Nawaz took the qadam of Gawth Pak and apni sar ke taaj bana diya. Took the qadam of Gawth Pak and he made it his crown. He became Sultanul Hind, and not the crown of this dunya. Tajushariah took the qadam of Gawth Pak. He took the qadam of the awliya and he became Tajushariah. Became the crown and the crown bearer of the Sharia. इतना नहीं समझेगे तो क्या समझोगे? Think for a moment. How much? एक सवाल. अब बात बहुत दूर जा रही, मगर एक सवाल. दुरूद पाक पढ़ लीजिए. अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला सय्यिदिना व नबियना मौलाना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुहम्मद मa'adin al-judi wal karam wa ali al-kiram wa ibn al-karim wa barik wa sallu alayhi. How much did Rasul Pak give of that drink of marifat from the court of Allah to Gawth Pak radiyallahu anhu? Rasul Pak ne kitna diya? और अब्दुल कादिर ने कितना पिया कि पिया उस वक्त और पिलाया कयामत तक पिला रहे तमाम औलिया अल्लाह को। हाउ मच पिलाने वाले जाने और पीने वाले समझे, हमारी बस की बात नहीं है। We can't even answer this. The one who gave him this drink of marifat from the court of Allah, yes, Rabb gave it, but Rabb gave it through the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How much he must be got that he can distribute till Qiyamah. He is able to distribute to all the awliya Allah. And we beggars, we dogs of Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu anh, we receive one drop or one mini drop even, but when you get it, you can't get it without your murshid. Any person, the Nazar-e Karam of no wali will be on you and me or any of us until your murshid's Nazar-e Karam is on you. When your murshid's Nazar-e Karam is on you, then Khaja Garibun Nawaz Nazar-e Karam will be on you. Gawth Pak's Nazar-e Karam will be on you. Abu Bakr Siddiq's Nazar-e Karam will be. Umar Farooq's Nazar-e Karam will be. Osman Zun Nurain's will be. Ali Murtaza's will be. Hazrat Bilal Habshi's will be. Hazrat Awais Karni's will be. Bayazid Bustami's will be. Why radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in? Because of your murshid's Nazar-e Karam on you. Okay? Understand that. Now, to understand further, is that I said just now, all those awliya drank together, all those Afthbs. They drank together the drink of Ruhaniyat. Together from the court of Gawth Pak radiallahu anh. But still none of them, and not all of them together, can reach that maqam. We'll talk about it more tomorrow in depth. None of them can reach that maqam of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh. And I said, what must be? The mind is not able to even go near. The mind is, akal is not even be able to go near. What can be said about the shan of that Abdul Qadir, that Gawth Pak? That after drinking what he left, somebody becomes Khaja Garibun Nawaz. That drinking after what he left, one becomes Khaja Garibun Nawaz. By drinking what he left, one becomes Ali bin Hajar Haiti. By drinking what he left, one becomes Abdullah Tabil. By drinking what he left, someone becomes Ala Hadrat Imam Ahmad Raza Khan radiallahu anh. Somebody comes Hujjatul Islam. Somebody comes Mufti Al-Azam. Somebody becomes Huzur Tajushariah radiallahu anh. And in this zamana, somebody becomes Muhaddis Kabir. Think about it for a moment. What drink was that of love? What was that power that all of them reached the status because of the fazilat and the blessings from the court of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak? But koi Gawth Pak nahi ban paega. Nobody will become that maqam and reach that maqam by him telling you this. You know, Gawth Pak is passing a message. Gawth Pak is passing a message that after I drank, Abdul Qadir reached this maqam. You can't reach Abdul Qadir and you want to be like Rasulullah. The message is, the awliya will never think this, but the message is to reverberate. To the that example, when the promise was taken from the Anbiya on Yom Mithaq, that if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were to come in your zamana, then zurur, you will bring iman on him. And you will follow him. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't come physically in their zamanas of the other Anbiya. But what was that message for? It was not only for the Anbiya, it was for the ummats of those Anbiya also. That if the Nabi comes in your zamana, you will believe. Like this, by Gawth Pak is saying this, and this maqam is becoming zahir. It is telling us, Gawth Pak is telling us, when the awliya can't reach Abdul Qadir, where the layman on the street is going to become like Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. It's a lesson. You have to read between the lines of the words of the pious to understand them better. You know, you think about it for a moment. I said yesterday, and I'm repeating it today, there are many idiots. Say, Malana, hard language. Fools. More hard if I can find, I'll say a few more. Many idiots who say that we accept Gawth Pak. I said this day before yesterday, a little bit than yesterday. We accept Huzur Gawth Pak, radiallahu anh, and we regard him as Imamul Awliya. We regard him as Imamul Awliya, but he is only for his zamana. Now we sing our Shaykh is now the Ghaus. The true pious become the Ghausul Zaman, the Ghausul Waqt. But Gawth-e-Azam is Al-Qaadiri Jilani. Radiallahu anhu. He is given that unique state. Think about it for a moment. When 200 years before, as I said yesterday, when 200 years before, 2 centuries before Gawth Pak came in this dunya, Junaid al-Baghdadi was taking the sar, putting his head under the feet of Sarkar-e-Gawth Pak. 200 years before, when Junaid al-Baghdadi was taking the Qadm-e-Naz of Gawth Pak, radiallahu anhu, who is there that can deny today the grandness of Sarkar-e-Gawth Pak? Something we talked about. You know, he's the Gawth-e-Azam. He will be the Gawth-e-Azam. He's the Gawth-e-Azam yesterday, he's the Gawth-e-Azam today also. He was in his zamana, Gawth-e-Azam, today to his Gawth-e-Azam. And tomorrow to his Gawth-e-Azam. He is the Gawth-e-Azam who has been appointed from the court of Allah. And he has been deputized from the court of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for this. Those who say that have neither understood the protocol of the kingdom of wilayat. Those who talk this utter nonsense have not understood the protocol of the kingdom of wilayat and the grandness of Sarkar-e-Gawth Pak, nor have they understood the words of Hazrat Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam. They have not understood. Let me give you some examples tonight before I finish. There was one pious servant of Allah. His name was Sayyidina Shaykh Suwaid al-Bukhari. Sayyidina Suwaid al-Bukhari radiyallahu anhu. You know, today we find people make this claim. Very knowledgeable. You know, we know better. They want to make the new rules. They want to leave the rules of the Salafus Salihin. They want to leave what the pious taught us, what the predecessors taught us. Such people I want today that we discuss this so the message goes, and we also remember, we must get scared also. Allah hame khata se bachaye, from this mistake of takabbur and ego. It's a lesson. They should realize and we should learn also. Allah protect us from doing this. That what happens to this hal of people? It is stated that there was a person who on his deathbed he couldn't read his kalma. Very good man, everything very good. But on his deathbed he can't read his kalma. People are asking him other things, he's talking. दूसरी बातें कर रहे, बात कर पा रहा है, मगर कलमा पढ़ने के लिए जो उसको ताकीद कर रहे. You know, when somebody is passing away in the halat sakrat, if you want to encourage them to read kalma, you don't tell them read kalma. It's wrong to do that. You read and let them hear, so that's how they remember the kalima sharif, okay? Because if you tell read and he rejects, there's a problem. So you read and let him hear you reading. That's how you remind them. So he was being reminded to read the kalima, but he was doing everything else, talking, but he can't read the kalima. They advised him in their own way. They tried to make ishara that read the kalima. But it was not happening. Do you know why? Because he was in the habit of picking on the pious people. He was in the habit of picking on the Salafus Salihin, on the awliya, and trying to find faults in their blessed tariqah. That's what he used to do. So Hazrat Sayyidina Shaykh Suwaid al-Bukhari radiallahu anhu, I'm being brief, very great wali of his zamana. He says, and I'm telling you about him, because I want to tell you what he said about what happened from the court of Gawth Pak. That's what I'm telling you about him. He says, when the people brought this case to me, that this ye aadmi kalma nahi padh pa raha hai. To them in those zamana, it was a very big thing. Because he was a good man, but he had this bad habit, always picking on the awliya, budurgani thing. He said this was brought to me, so I made a request on his behalf. मैंने उनकी तरफ से सिफारिश की. In the court of the awliya that were present at that time, उस ज़माने के बड़े जो बुजुर्ग थे, although he was a great wali also. He said, I presented this in the court of the awliya to this great mashayikh that were there. And they said that if the awliya of the past who he has been making be'adabi of, if they agree, then we will forgive. Allahu Akbar. कैसे जाएगा वहां? जिन की ये बेअदबी करता था, नुक्स निकालने की कोशिश करता था, वो पहले इसको माफ कर दे, फिर हम लोग सोचते इसका हाल क्या करें. Then we'll think about what to do about it. Hazrat Sayyidina Suwaid al-Bukhari radiyallahu anh says, मैंने tasawwur में, in spiritual state, in the state of muraqabah, I presented myself in the court of Hazrat Maruf Karhi radiyallahu anh. Hazrat Maruf Karhi is the gateway to the court of Gawth Pak. Because Gawth Pak used to go and make chilla there. And loved him dearly. If you want any of your job to get done in Baghdad from Gawth Pak, go and make Hadri in Maruf-e-Qarqi and tell him, Sarkar aap farma de. Then go to Gawth Pak and say, Ya Gawth Pak, I asked Hazrat Maruf-e-Qarqi to make request on my behalf. Aapka kaam aise ho jayega, inshallah. If you do it with pure niyat. So, he says, Hazrat Sayyidina Sahih Bukhari says, I went through in a Ruhani state. Because Hazrat Maruf-e-Qarqi had left the dunya. Into the bargah of Hazrat Maruf-e-Qarqi, Sarri Sakti, and Junaid Baghdadi. I went in their bargah. And also Hazrat Abu Bakr Shibli. And Abdul Bayazid Bustami. Why is he telling you all this? Because it means this man was picking all there. I went in a spiritual state. And I requested and I presented a plea on his behalf. I asked for his forgiveness. And then, because of my plea, they forgave him. And as they forgave him, the kalima came out of his zuban and his ruh left his body. Okay? Now think the maqam of that personality who can present himself in those courts. That same Shaykh, Sahih al-Bukhari says, that Shaykh Abdul Qadir, he is saying, Shaykh Abdul Qadir is our Shaykh, our Imam, our leader. He is the greatest and most exalted amongst all of us in the court of Almighty Allah and His beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aise shakhsiyat keh rahe. Why? Because they know that which Sarkar Ala Hadrat told us. Today Allah Hazrat told us, but this was their view then, and they thought then about Sarkar Gawth Pak, कि क्यों ना कासिम हो कि तू इब्ने अबिल कासिम है, क्यों ना कादिर हो कि मुख्तार है बाबा तेरा. Now I'm still not finished with today's discussion on that share. Inshallah, I'll explain that share further tomorrow. And we'll tie it to another share of Sarkar Ala Hadrat, Adimul Barkat, radiyallahu anhu. I've told you every day after the lecture, I've been telling you, and I'm repeating. I said I'm going to take 5, 7, 10 minutes to tell you this. Every day I'm doing it. Iman ko mazboot rakho. Keep your iman very, very, very strong. Keep it very tight. Because I said yesterday, the floods are coming. Not the flood that's going to take your house and take your car. Ghar le jayega to le jayega. Paise le jayega to le jayega. Iman le jayega to gaye kam se. What did Allah say? Ofra munkar wo bada josh, ta'assub akhir. भीड़ में हाथ से कम बख्त का ईमान लिया. Don't let your iman. Hold your iman. That is why the Budurgan Deen said, don't keep nisbat with those who are dolmol. Because their iman is polluted, your iman going to get polluted also. You have to protect it. Very valuable, you can't get it again. In our environment and our community, throughout the world you are seeing the Sulakuli virus. And Huzur Tajushariah warned us and warned us and warned us. And every day I'm talking about it. People may go and laugh about it. Hey, Maulana only talks about this. Because my Murshad talked about this. Always. Always Huzur Mufti Kabir is telling us. Why? Because as the times are going, it's becoming more difficult to hold our iman. You look at today in your community, in our community, right? And I'm ending with this. How hard is to control your children's lives? जब से ये मोबाइल फोन आ गया है, ये क्या नाम है, सोशल मीडिया, फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम, ट्विटर. आदमी बिस्तर पे बैठेगा, अपना सोफा पे बैठ रहा है, उसकी बीबी उसकी बराबर में, उसको खुद नहीं मालूम वो क्या बोल रही है. She's on her phone, he doesn't know. And if nowadays we've seen how many cases we get here, people come, that if the husband tries to say to the wife, give me the phone, झगड़ा हो जाता. अरे छुपाने की कौन सी बात है. The children, father says the son, let me see. No, my phone has got a code. We put codes on our phone, we can hide everything. There's no code that can hide from the court of Allah. Allah is Sami'ul Basir. Allah is all hearing, all seeing. He's Alim, He's Kabir. He knows everything what we do. We hide from the dunya. Abdul Qadir became Abdul Qadir because he knew and understood and he had the ma'rifat that nothing is hidden from his Rabb. You and I say it, but how much do we understand it? Why are our communities going astray? Why are our children going astray? Because they are seeing what we're doing sometimes wrong, they're saying it's right because we did it. You must remember your action has a reaction in your own home and your community. We have to be very careful. We have to protect our children. They are very delicate. If we have to shout, we shout. See, I got a big son, but if I have to shout, I shout also. You can ask him. मैं ये सब नहीं सोचता हूँ. हक बात है. When they're good, I praise also. MashaAllah. But when we're wrong, we have to say. Why? Not because we are the enemies, because we love them. And when you love something, then you love for them what you love for yourself. And we love for ourselves to be protected from the fitna of shaitan, and we want that for our families also, to be protected from the fitna of shaitan. This was one of the lessons that Gawth Pak gave in his life. Go and listen to what we've been talking about. Analyze what we're talking about. And think how lucky, my young brothers, my children that are sitting here, think how lucky you are to be a Qaadiri. Think how lucky you are to have the daman that when your murshid, when you became murid of your murshid, he said, Kaho ke maine apne haath, pirane pir dastagir, sarkar-e Gawth Pak ke daste pak mein apne haath diya. How lucky you are. This is something that is great, good fortune. If we're not going to appreciate it, and the day we start to think we're going to appreciate, both there ho jayega. Let us change for the sake of the iman of our future generation, for the protection of our future community. It is very important. We're making this mahfils. See, I told you on day one, I'm not interested if 500 people come and sit here. And I'm not interested if 5 people come and sit. I'm not worried about numbers. Alhamdulillah, people are listening online also. If 50 listen or 5,000 listen, koi baat nahi. Message must be the same. We have to give the message. Today it's no more about quantity, it's about quality. I rather sit amongst 5 beggars who love Allah and His Rasul sincerely, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and are sincerely attached to the pious, than sitting with 500 who say something here and do something outside again. We don't want that. We have to think carefully. And the best way to learn the right way is to learn from those who came before us. Look at them. Look at Tajushariah. Look at Mufti Al-Azam, radiallahu anhu. Look at the Mashaykh of Maharara Sharif. Look at Hazrat Burhan Millat. Look at Sarkar Sadr Sharia. Look today at Huzur Muhaddis al-Kabir. Look at Huzur Qaid Millat. Think, look at the Budurgan Deen and learn. That's how you learn. You don't learn everything from the book. You understand? You don't learn everything from the book. If you learn from the wrong, you will be wrong. And if you learn from the right, you will stay right. This is very important. That is why, if you look at the Shama'il of Tirmidhi, the last hadith reminds you of how important it is to take knowledge from the right people. Because if you take from the wrong people, it will be knowledge, but it will mislead you, it won't lead you. So this is very important. This is what we learned from the court of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak. That is what Imam Al-Ghazali radiallahu anhu taught us, and all the other pious. Allah Ta'ala, hum sab ko samajh ki tawfiq ata farmaye. Allah give us the tawfiq to understand that how short our life is. See, whatever I got, all of you are my brothers. Whatever you got. Somebody may have more than me, somebody may have less than me. Somebody may have very much more than me, somebody may have very less than me. I may have very less than somebody else. But it's not our wealth. It's not our power. It is not our clothing. It's not all this. It's that one thing that Ala Hazrat said. What is it? Lahad mein ishq rukhe shah ka daag leke chale. Andheri raat suni thi chirag leke chale. And how are you going to get that lamp of love in your heart? Tere ghulamon ka naqshe qadam hai rahe khuda. Where they put their foot, you put your foot behind that there. Where they put their foot, you put your foot behind. If you're going to go try and say, they went this way, hey, but I saw one shortcut this way, let me go this way, mare jaoge. Qatal ho jaoge. You lose everything. Mere tere ghulamo, I never say, Ala Hazrat said, tere ghulamo ka naqshe qadam hai rahe khuda. Wo kya bahak sake jo ye surag leke chale. Who will go astray when he takes this map and this route and he goes? Because why? I said this before. I'm ending with this. I'm always saying I'm ending with it, but something comes in my heart, I tell you. Think about it. Why I want to follow Gawth Pak's way? Why you want to follow Gawth Pak's way? Why you want to follow Khaja Garib Nawaz way? Why you want to follow Ala Hazrat? Why you want to follow Tajushariah? Why are we saying follow their Naqsh Qadam? Why you want to follow the Budurgs before that? Because if you follow their path, inshallah you'll go where they went. Their path took them to Jannat. They already got that blessing. If you follow that Naqsh Qadam, you'll go to Jannat also. So why you want to try and make a new route when there's already a route from here to Jannat? And there are beacons of guidance on the way already. Think about it. It's something that we need. It's not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. It's very simple. The reason of giving all these lectures every night is one, for me, it's because I get to be in this sense hazir in the court of Gawth Pak radiallahu. Because when you speak about the pious, you are hazir in the bargah. When you sit in the court of in the mahfil of the pious, you are hazir in the bargah. But the other thing is we're doing this so that, one, we learn more about our mashayikh and the Budurgan-e-Din, especially Gawth Pak, and two, we can remind each other of what is our real priority in life. If we learn this, and we're doing this because you see the children are sitting here, young people, young boys say, why are we telling you this? So that for them it's very important. And when we're telling them, we tell ourselves also, that look, never mind you're getting old now, but don't think you know it all. Hold firmly to their way. Because you'll be protected here and you'll be protected in the hereafter. Allah give us tawfiq khair. All those that are ill in the community, Allah grant them shifa, kamil, sehat, ajil. Our Zubair Bhai from Bombay, his wife has been quite ill. We're making special dua shifa for her. Allah ta'ala shifa, kamil, sehat, ajil, ata farma. Whoever else asked me to make dua, I'm making dua for all of them. Those that have passed away in Al-Sunnah, Allah exalt them in Jannatul Naeem. Today is the Shab of Tajushariah. To the barakat of Gawth Pak and the fuyuz of Gawth Pak, may Allah bless us with the barakat of Sarkar Khaja Garibun Nawaz radiyallahu ta'ala. Allah keep us with iman, let us leave this world with iman. Wa ma'alin al-balagh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.